Hello BookTube and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole. Trying to get a couple videos done before I go to bed for the night. Don't worry, I'm not drinking coffee. I drink coffee throughout the day sometimes, but never right before bed. I'll never get to sleep. I'm actually drinking some cocoa. And can I just tell you the best way to drink cocoa? If you're of drinking age. If you are not, what I like to do with my kids is we put a little bit of milk and we have some caramel syrup like they make for coffee. Well, that is very good. But if you like a little something stronger and you were old enough, I love to put a splash of white chocolate Irish cream in my cocoa. It is so good. So if that sounds good to you, try it. Trust me, it's really good. Okay, so there are a bunch of tag videos that I would love to do, and I'm going to try to get to a lot of them. But I figured the first one I would do is the newbie tag. Makes sense. I am new to this channel. I have not done any tag videos, so let's get started with that. The first question is, why did you start a YouTube channel? I originally started during BookTubeathon, if you saw any of those videos. I had been watching BookTube for probably about a year, and I actually caught part of BookTubeathon last year, and I thought that was such a cool idea. And then when it came around again this year, and I saw how they have the challenges and, video challenges and the Instagram challenges, I thought, I've been thinking about it for a little while. I was like, why don't I just start a channel and do some challenges? It might be fun. Like I said, though, I had been thinking about it for a little while and kind of going back and forth, and that really pushed me into it, and I'm glad that I did it. I have been having fun, and I have decided to keep, at least for the time being, making videos and see where it goes. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you bring to YouTube? First of all, I am older than a lot of the YouTubers that I've seen on here doing BookTube. Not all of them, which is nice, but I've noticed a lot of the BookTubers are teenagers or 20-somethings. So I thought that I could bring a unique perspective to BookTube. I know that books that I have read when I was younger, whether as a kid, a teenager, or even in my 20s, and then I have reread them recently, I see them in a different way. It's like the older I get, every time I reread a book, it just brings something new to it because of the life experiences that I've had since the previous reading. So that's something that I can bring to YouTube and share with you all. I also, for the most part, read a lot of different books than I see on BookTube. So hopefully I can introduce people to some different authors or older books or even different genres that they had not read or even considered before. Number 3 is, what are you most excited for by this channel? First of all, I think it would be good for me to get out of my comfort zone. I can be very quiet and shy, especially when I first meet people. I am very introverted. I think a lot of people who read a lot are. So I like the idea of trying something new, something different, possibly making some new friends. I've already had some great discussions with people throughout the year just as a watcher of BookTube videos. So I really love this community and what it brings, and to be able to discuss my love of books with other like-minded people, I think is great. Number 4 is, why do you love reading? Now, this is an easy question, but at the same time it's a difficult question. I mean, reading is everything to me. It has meant so much to me my whole life. I started reading at an early age, and as soon as I learned how to read, I just never stopped. I've always been a big reader. And, I mean, as a child, like I'd already mentioned, I'm already kind of a quiet, somewhat shy, introverted person. And when I was a child, I was even more so. I mean, I was painfully awkward and shy. I did not have a lot of friends until high school. I barely talked to people. I mean, books were my friends a lot of the time. Books were my escape. I had some difficult times at home. My parents had a very unhappy marriage, which affected me and my brother. I got bullied a lot at school, and it's a lot for a kid to handle. And I turned to books, like probably so many people do. The best way I can describe it is I remember watching The Never-Ending Story when I was a kid. I've seen it many times since then. I love that movie. I read the book, and I completely relate to Sebastian. He had so much going on with his family, with school, with bullies chasing him, picking on him, and that desire to fall into a book, to just totally lose yourself in a story. And I get it. I completely get that. And even now, even though I'm a different person and I'm a lot more outgoing and out there, and I have a lot of great friends and a family, and I still can still feel that pain and insecurity that I felt as a kid, and be able to take comfort in reading a story. So I'm sure that a lot of people completely understand what I'm talking about. I know I'm not the only one. Number 5, on maybe a happier question. What book or series really got you into reading? Now, like I said, I have always been reading. As long as I could read, I have been reading. But the first book series that I remember really having impact on me, that I, couldn't wait to read the next book, and then when I was done, I would reread them over and over again, was the Witch series by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I mean, it was the first set of books that I really remember getting so excited about. They were very well written. They were very cool stories. Loved the characters. Now, when I was a kid, they only had the first 3 books out. The 4th book did not come out until I was, I think, in junior high. And at the time, because I had started reading the books when I was 8 or 9, I think, when the 4th book came out, I actually didn't even realize that it had come out. I had stopped reading them at that point. That's when I started reading more adult books. And I'd completely actually forgotten about the series for the longest time. And probably several years ago, I had found one of the books at a book sale, and I actually bought it for my daughter, thinking that she might enjoy these books. And I was like, oh my god, I remember reading these. I remember loving these so much. And I picked up that one book, and I started looking up the series, and I found out that she had written 3 or 4 more books for that series. And I have not done it yet, but I'm actually wanting to start over and read the whole series and kind of see if I still enjoy it, what happened after I left off, how much do I remember of it, that kind of thing. I think it would be cool. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? There's actually 2 questions that I would be curious to ask. First of all, how has BookTube changed your life for the better? And secondly, what part of making videos or being on BookTube do you not enjoy? Number 7, what challenges do you think starting a YouTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? This is probably a tie for me. I don't know which one would be worse, but for one, finding the time to make videos. I'm going to be starting my nursing program in just a little over a week, actually. And I work, and I have a family and a house to take care of and animals, and so I am going to be super busy, but I still want to try to make this a priority, even if I only make 1 or 2 videos a week. And the second would be editing my videos. If you've seen any of my videos, you can obviously tell that I don't edit them. It's not that I don't care or I don't want to make them better than they are, but I have not had any editing software. I am not a very big computer person. I'm not very good with any of that. I actually did get some recommendations from people, and I downloaded some editing software. And so the videos that I am making tonight, I'm actually going to try my hand at editing them, and we'll see what happens with that. Number 8, when did you start reading? Like I had mentioned in kind of with a previous question, I started reading at a very early age. I started kindergarten when I was 6. I know that I started a little later than some people because I had missed the cutoff. I was born in December. And I know I was reading before I started kindergarten. So I was 4 or 5. I'm not exactly sure when. I just remember that once I started learning how to read, I did not want anybody reading to me. I always had to be reading either to myself or to other people and showing them how well I could read. I was so excited. And lastly, number 9, what kinds of books do you like to read? I will pretty much read anything if it is well written. There is not a genre that I don't think I won't read. I'm not a big fan of Westerns. I have read a few. I'm definitely open to reading Westerns if I hear of something interesting. My favorite genre is fantasy, and especially urban fantasy, but I also really like sci-fi, young adult. Young adult fantasy and sci-fi I love too. I will read contemporary, even though I'm not too big of a fan of YA contemporary. I'm not really sure why. I should probably try some more. Maybe I can get into them. I love romances, but I am very picky about the romances I read. There are a lot of tropes and things that I do not like in a lot of romance books. I read a lot of thrillers, horror, historicals, nonfiction. There's pretty much nothing that I won't read. And I tend to be reading several books at once, and I don't like to read 2 books of the same genre because I will tend to get confused if I do that. So like right now I'm reading I believe it is the 4th Game of Thrones book. I'm reading a Walking Dead book, and I am reading a urban fantasy book, and that's pretty typical, just depending on what my mood is, what I want to read at the time. So there you have it. That is the newbie tag. I'm not really sure who started this tag. If I can find out who the original person who did it is, I will link their video down below. And I pretty much tag anybody who is watching me who is also new to YouTube and perhaps didn't know about this tag or just haven't done it yet. So I would love to see your videos, and if you have made one of these or you do make one, please link that in the comments below and I will check it out. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.